For once, Max McGreevy wasn't the one holding his breath. The 30-year-old from Edmond, Oklahoma, had spent most of the past 6 months on the FedEx Cup bubble, but after tying for third last week in Bermuda, he was afforded house money to chase his first victory at the RSM Classic. As McGreevy stood over his 30-foot birdie putt on Sea Island's par 4 finishing hole Sunday afternoon, within striking distance of leader Sami Välimäki, the tension had instead manifested in competitors Ricky Castillo and Lee Hodges. The former watched from the clubhouse, while the latter shared the green with McGreevy, staring down a crucial birdie putt of his own. Castillo, the 24-year-old rookie out of Florida, had just fired an 8-under 62, but if McGreevy made, it wouldn't be enough to crack the top 100 in points and retain full membership for 2026. Hodges needed to break out of a logjam for fourth, otherwise he'd be joining Castillo as a conditional member next year. McGreevy prefers a singular thought when he swings back the putter, and the focus this week has been to keep his head still. When he gets under pressure, he feels like he kind of moves back as the putt's going. Even as the wind picked up late, McGreevy stood firm on that last green. He put a nice stroke on his ball, then watched it track toward the hole. With McGreevy's ball in motion, Castillo's fate hung in the balance. It had been a year of narrow disappointments for Castillo, who missed 8 cuts by a single shot, 3 of those coming during a 4-missed-cut streak entering the RSM. Now he was potentially about to lose his card by the same tiny margin, and yet Castillo was surprisingly calm, like he'd been all week at a place where he'd won an SEC championship his senior year with the Gators. Honestly, he really didn't feel much pressure, Castillo said. It was kind of like he really didn't have anything to lose. Florida head coach J.C. Deacon texted Castillo Saturday night, telling his former player that there was no player he'd rather have the ball in their hands. Derek Castillo, Ricky's older brother and caddy, agreed, after witnessing his little brother hit his first few warm-up shots Sunday morning. Brian Kopsick, looper for Castillo's playing competitor Jonathan Bird, noted during the final round, "I've never seen a kid so zoned in." When he's feeling confident, he can get in the zone and just kind of goes, Derek Castillo said. And boy did he go on Sunday, going out in a scorching 7-under 28. His only blemish was a missed 2-footer for par at the par 3 12th, but he responded with a 2-putt birdie at the par 5 15th and a 32-foot birdie make at the par 4 16th. He gave himself 20 feet for 61 at the last, before settling for a 10-under 62. Not even an hour later, though, McGreevy's ball disappeared into the 18th hole, and with it, Castillo's hopes. As McGreevy celebrated with an emphatic fist pump, Castillo simultaneously headed to the parking lot. He spent several minutes unloading his belongings, including his fishing gear, from his courtesy SUV and into a much smaller car to make the drive home to Jacksonville, Florida. He just wouldn't be returning with his PGA Tour card, as McGreevy's birdie knocked him from a projected number 95 in points to number 102. "It's just been one of those years where it's been really close," Castillo said. "It could have been really good, but it hasn't really clicked. Finally clicked this week." Hodges holed 2 birdie putts from outside 20 feet on the back 9, but couldn't capitalize from 10 feet on the last. His closing miss caused him to double over and bury his head in his hands. He finished number 101 by approximately 2 points. McGreevy later learned what his final putt meant for Castillo. "I hate to hear that I was the one that did that," he said. "Hopefully both those guys can take care of business either at Q School or next year with some starts."